Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Mark Welp.
And I'm Alyssa Paldo. Welcome to WMBD this morning. We start in the state capitol this morning. Lawmakers in Springfield gearing up for two different votes on gun control today. One measure would allow a family member to flag their loved one as a potential threat. After that, the court would get involved, temporarily taking away their weapons. Another bill bans high-capacity magazines and assault-style semi-automatic weapons.
3 students at Limestone High School are fined $250 each after police say they made threats on social media. Bartonville Police Chief Brian Fengel said school administration and officers followed up on the warnings. The threats were general and not aimed at a specific person or school. The chief says it's important for police to investigate every tip they receive.
Developing this morning, House Speaker Michael Madigan reveals his office investigated 9 complaints of misconduct in the last 5 years.
If you read through how these were processed, you can see that at the leadership level, we don't tolerate inappropriate behavior.
Madigan says all the reports came from legislative staffers accusing other staffers, legislators, or lobbyists. The accusations include discrimination, intimidation, inappropriate comments, unwanted advances, and unwanted physical contact. The revelations come after 2 Madigan operatives were disassociated from the party over misconduct accusations.
GOP leaders are questioning the independence of a new anti-harassment panel. Speaker Madigan appointed 3 Democratic women to lead the investigation. The panel will be holding discussions with women across the state, talking about topics ranging from workplace harassment to inappropriate behavior as a whole. They'll use the findings to draft legislation and/or make administrative changes. When asked specifically about allegations in Speaker Madigan's office, panel members say they hope to learn from those victims.
I think she's in every right to come forward and say whatever happened in my case hasn't been handled appropriately, and I want you guys to hear about that. Our panel expect that we will sit down and talk to her. We'll talk to her in confidence so that we can learn from whatever the mistakes were that took place in her case. I don't know what they are, but we have every intention on listening to her.
Panel members say they'll hire staff without input from the Democratic Party, but GOP leaders worry the panel may be too partisan.
Victims of trauma and violence in Peoria and McLean counties will soon have extra support. The court-appointed special advocates, or CASA programs, in each county are getting a share of a nearly $3 million grant. Criminal justice advocates say 10% of children who become victims don't get the emotional support they need, and they hope this grant can help more kids.
The debate over who should own Peoria's water system continues as a private investor proposes an offer to help city leaders determine if buying the system is feasible. The Peoria CEO Council has presented the City Council with an offer of $400,000, but City Council members are expressing concerns over the proposal, including the exact cost to appraise the water system. They also wanted clarity on an oversight committee that the CEO Council is proposing. City Manager Patrick Urick plans to discuss these concerns and bring back answers to the City Council next month.
Drivers in Peoria will soon be paying more if they forget to feed the meter. City Council has passed an ordinance to raise parking tickets to $20. $3 of the increase will pay for upgraded ticketing devices for parking enforcement. The rest will go into the city's general fund.
Businesses in Bloomington will not be able to install new video game machines for the next 12 months. Our news partner WJBC reports the City Council approved a 1-year moratorium this week. City staffers will spend a year coming up with proposed regulations and fees for gaming, modeled after what's being done in Normal.
Garbage fees are going up in Bloomington. WJBC Radio reports aldermen voted to raise costs and reduce services to reduce the city's deficit. Collection fees will increase $4 a month for this year. That will not affect people with 35-gallon carts, but across the board, increases of 3% a year will take effect next spring. Free bulk waste collection will be held twice a year in the spring and fall.
2 more victims come forward accusing a piano teacher in Bloomington of sexual abuse. According to the Panagraph, Bloomington police are interviewing other potential victims. Aaron Parlier faces 13 charges involving 3 girls who say he sexually abused them. The state's attorney says a 4th girl is being interviewed and more charges may be filed. Police began investigating Parlier in September when a teenager said she was being abused during her piano lessons.
In 8 months' time, the Peoria Fire Department has seen 1 firefighter die from cancer and 2 more get the diagnosis. It's a new battle beyond the blaze. Cancer quickly catching up with cardiovascular issues as a leading cause of firefighter deaths. This diagnosis is becoming increasingly common in this line of work and affecting firefighters much earlier. Nick Reardon was just 34 years old when that news was handed to his family.
You think of the big ones, like what happens if you don't go home or you get trapped or physically injured or whatever, but honestly, cancer was the farthest thing from my mind.
Tonight on WMBD News at 10, I explain why this diagnosis is becoming increasingly common and what's being done to make sure those who work to protect us go home safely to their families.
It's been 1 year since an EF3 tornado ripped through LaSalle County, affecting hundreds of homes and buildings in both Ottawa and Naples. The city of Ottawa estimates the tornado caused up to $39 million in damage. Neither of the communities received aid from the state, and many have been depending on private donations for repairs. Although there is still some work to be done, the communities are on the mend. All right, well, no severe weather in our forecast anytime soon.
No.